Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to the new episode of the Dennis podcast. Today's guest is the main editor of Europe's most renewed basketball website, Aris Barkas. Of course, we are talking about Eurohoops. So, welcome, Aris, and first of all, I want to thank you for agreeing to be a guest on my show. It's truly an honor to have this conversation with you.
Thank you. It's also an honor for me to meet a colleague online that I have also met in person during the pre-Olympic tournament in Athens, and his work speaks itself about your quality and about your dedication to the profession and also the sport of basketball.
Thank you very much. It's nice to hear you. So, all right, I'd like to start this interview, and we'll focus mainly on Greek basketball since that's your area of expertise, if you agree.
Yes, no problem with me.
Okay. The freshest news for Greek basketball is came last night. Giannis Antetokounmpo, with 1.7 million votes, is currently the leading player in the NBA All-Star voting. I'm not sure if he's the first European to finish with more votes than any American player, but it's undoubtedly a huge milestone for Greek basketball. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yes, he is the first one to do it. It's great for Greek basketball, but on the other hand, you can't deny that a player like Giannis or like Jokic right now are global superstars. So it's great that they are part of the Greek basketball ecosystem. Or Nikola Jokic is part of the Serbian basketball ecosystem, but practically these votes prove that Giannis and Jokic are much bigger than Greece or Serbia or European basketball. They belong to everyone. And when Giannis first was a candidate for the All-Star game, there was, let's say, a crusade in Greece to make him part of the All-Star game. You have seen in all of social media vote Giannis, because it was also the time that social media votes counted. Now there is no such prominent message on the sports media, on the social media, anywhere. But you see that Giannis is getting more and more votes. That simply means that the NBA audience connects with Giannis and connects with Jokic, and it's not necessarily just the Serbs or just the Greeks that are voting for him and pushing him to the top.
Yes, totally agree. Carmelo Anthony recently spoke in his podcast, 7 a.m. in Brooklyn, because NBA is so globalized right now, and the NBA All-Star game is not like it used to be. Maybe it would be good to put it somewhere other outside of the US boundaries, like maybe in Europe or Abu Dhabi, Dubai. I don't know anywhere
It,
where
yes,
basketball is popular.
that's why the whole expansion discussion is finally making sense. And also, it's obvious that basketball is on the rise globally, and also in places that even we as Europeans don't really value. And I'm speaking mainly about Asia, where basketball is
Mhm.
already very, very, very big. And I think that this is something that FIBA knows really well, and that's why their focus in the last few years have been creating something in Asia.
Yes. So looking at this season, Nikola Jokic continues to push the boundaries of what's considered the normal. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is also incredibly consistent. However, Giannis Antetokounmpo is really playing unreal basketball. His averages speaks for himself. Milwaukee Bucks have been playing hot and cold, as we say it back here. So I'm curious about how you see Giannis' chances of winning the MVP award, and where do you see the Bucks in the long term?
Well, those are three very different cases. Uh, and as we have seen also with the Embiid campaign to win MVP, there's
Yes.
always a narrative about this award, because remember, this is an award that is a media award practically. Only media vote about the MVP. So if you just look at the numbers, Jokic is the clear favorite. There is no denying about that. Jokic is having a season that never happened before in the NBA, and that was the case with Giannis, for example, when he won his second MVP. Giannis' numbers are the only numbers that can challenge Jokic, and also there is a debate about the impact of Giannis in defense that can't be compared with Jokic. Jokic is a great player, but if you put Giannis and Jokic on both ends of the floor, then you can't deny that Giannis' defense is miles ahead of what Jokic is doing, who has, of course, improved on this area, but he will never be a player like Giannis on defense, and of course, he doesn't need to be one. Now, on the other hand, the approach that gives to side Julius Alexander a real chance to win it, it's essentially the European approach. He's the best player in the best team.
Yes, for far.
Yes, and that, for example, if we were in Europe, Donovan Mitchell will have a chance, because we always value winning, not only numbers. And this is the different mentality. We don't hear anything about Donovan Mitchell because his numbers can't be compared with Shai, with Jokic, and with Giannis. But on the other hand, we tend in Europe to award wins. We need the guy who is the leader of the best team to be also the MVP. That's the way that we think about it. So I really get why there is such a push for Julius Alexander. But the problem with this award is that every year we hear a very different approach on what it should be awarded. One year it's the numbers, other year is the factor that the guy is the leader of the best team. Another year is a comparison with the previous year and the numbers that have been improved. So if, for example, Jokic is having the best number of his career, it's only natural that he will win the MVP award. So we never know in the end what the voters will decide. And that's the problematic aspect about this award. Of course, I prefer this than having the only numbers approach that the Eurolige has, for example. On the other hand, the flip side is that in the Euroleague, you know that only numbers count, so you know who will get the award.
Yes.
So I can make a case for both Giannis and Jokic. I can also understand why Julius Alexander is on the run. If you ask me who would I vote and forget about the NBA, my approach in media should be that who has the best team, only the individual numbers.
Yes, I agree. Totally agree with you. But okay, we could maybe agree that West is way much stronger this year than the Eastern Conference. But in the East, you have strong team-wise teams like Boston and Cleveland, and the New York is also playing great. Can Bucks defeat them in 4-game series? Impossible matchups.
Yes, I totally believe that, and that's the flip side of not having knockout games.
Yes.
Maybe in a format with knockout games, you will say that it's the chances of a bad team to have a good night against a good team are much better. But in general, in basketball, the better team wins. So when you have a 7 game series and you have a team that has the talent but somehow doesn't have yet reached its full potential, the only question is, will this team be ready in the time of the playoffs to perform their best basketball?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that ultimately it boils down to this, and we have seen it in the past with Miami. Miami never
Can you
had a spell. Yes, they
can
never
you
had a
maybe relate
stellar.
that to
Yes,
can you maybe relate that to FS when Ataman was there when they were
exactly,
they were
exactly,
like
exactly,
7 or 6 seed, but when the playoffs come, that they were like totally different team, championship mentality.
exactly.
And
So,
Bucks
so
has that with Lopez, Giannis, and Middleton.
yes, and not only that, I think that in the past few years, one of the main reasons that Bucks didn't reach their potential were injuries.
Hmm.
So if they are healthy in the playoffs, then it's a totally different situation.
I agree because when they won the championship, in my eyes, I'm like Nikola Jokic and Devin Nuggets fan, but in my eyes, they were like when they are healthy, they're unbeatable, only because of the Giannis's dominance. And I was like they were winning it 2 or 3 times for sure, but you never know in the today's NBA. And you said it, the injuries were a big factor.
And on paper, yes, uh, you will say that the Bucks are not among the top favorites, but on the other hand, it's indicative of the whole process of thinking. The fact that despite the Cavs having the best record in the league, nobody really
Hmm.
believes right now
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they can beat
absolutely,
Boston in a series.
absolutely. Okay, let's shift our focus to European basketball and the Euroleague, where you're the expert. How do you assess the season so far for Olympiacos and Panathinaikos? The general impression is that they should be higher on the standings, but given how competitive the Euroleague is this year, it's hard to gauge. How do you view their campaigns so far, especially since they were seen as Final Four contenders before the seasons, due to the star power on their rosters?
Look, currently Olympiacos is tied in the top with Monaco
Mm-hmm.
and Panathinaikos, because we are speaking before their game against Virtus. Panathinaikos fourth in the standings. So I think that they are in a situation that they are pretty much where they were expected to be. I think that in both cases, we haven't seen yet uh, the full potential of both for different reasons. And in my book, even with the problems that they seem to have, and Panathinaikos suffered a big setback after the injury of Matthias Lesor, I think that it's very hard for any other team to keep them out of the Final Four. I think
Yes,
that those teams are built to win the EuroLeague. The
yes.
only the only way for their team for their season to be successful will be to win the EuroLeague. Anything less will be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the rosters are deeper than ever. The star power that they have arguably is bigger than ever.
Yes, yes, I agree. So, speaking of
Got
Panathinaikos,
players from the NBA.
mm-hmm. Yes, I
So,
wanted.
so yes. So I think that they're having a just okay regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as you said, uh, and the issue is not the standings here. I think that the issue is that they have already lost some games. So, yes, they will not end the season unbeaten.
Yes.
But I think that I don't see any combination in which Olympiacos and Panathinaikos are out of the Final Four. It will be a great surprise.
So speaking of Panathinaikos, they brought in, you said it, they brought in two Turkish internationals and NBA players like Chedi Osman and Omer Yurtseven to their championship caliber roster. The sense is that they haven't quite found their footing alongside with Lorenzo Brown because he played great in Maccabi and for Spain. Did Panathinaikos make a mistake with signing? It feels like the hierarchy and team chemistry might have been disrupted.
Not really, because first of all, the experience in the Eurolige shows us that you can never have too many guards.
Mm-hmm.
It's a guards league, and the fact that Panathinaikos is playing with three guards right now, it's not something that is, I don't know, groundbreaking. We have seen it in the past. We have seen a lot of teams playing with three guards, even FS, with
Yes.
Krunoslav Simon and Vasilij Misic did this with great success. So having Lorenzo Brown on board, in my book, is not a problem. The same applies to Chedi Osman, because Chedi is a very versatile player and can adapt to any situation. The fact that his numbers are not spectacular has to do with the fact that Panathinaikos has very dominant guards, like Lorenzo Brown, like Kostas Loukas, and of course like Kendrick Nunn. And when you have this kind of guards, it's very hard for the forward positions to get the share in the spotlight. They have to do
Jerry and Grant also.
yes, they have to do the things that they will facilitate the guards. And practically, Krunoslav Simon was the prototype on this, because his balance on the team, he was always doing exactly what the team was needed. He could be a factor in the game and not score one single point. And he really understood the role, he embraced it, and he became perfect on it. And on the other hand, about Yurtseven, Panathinaikos was looking for to get some rest to Matthias Lesort, and it wasn't easy to find the right guy. So getting Yurtseven was a calculated risk, because when Yurtseven signs for around 1 million euros, it's on the cheap for Panathinaikos. And everyone knew that he's very gifted in the offensive end. And the question from the get, he delivered in defense.
Yes, especially in Europe.
Having Lesort as a present defense and having Yurtseven to give you another dimension made sense. But as the season progresses, and with Panathinaikos don't really having any need to get score from the center position, you could see that once again the presence of Lesort was crucial. That's why a guy like Wayne and Gabriel came in, who is only a defensive-minded center. You know that will be his role. Panathinaikos, he will be there only for the defense. So
he showed the first game.
Yes, exactly. So that's the situation with Omer Yurtseven. I don't think that he's a bad player, but maybe in the way that Panathinaikos is structured, he's a bad fit, because Panathinaikos doesn't really need him to score.
His quality.
This is an afterthought.
I get it. Okay, a key piece last season was Dinos Mitoglu. It's always important to have domestic players who are core contributors. Both he and Yanis Papapetrou have seen their roles diminished compared to last season. Do you think this could be a part of the reason for Panathinaikos' inconsistency?
Oh, maybe, but I think that Panathinaikos, the rotation of Panathinaikos will be pretty much the same, and yes, there is space for Middleton, there is space for Mitoglu. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
but right now you can't deny that Juancho Hernan Gomez is playing probably his best basketball ever. So
Yes.
you have to take advantage of it, and the importance of Mitoglu and Papapetru will come
Mhm.
later in the season, and it's not a coincidence that Papapetru also last season started to be a factor in the team during the playoffs because both players will be very important in the Greek league and in the finals against the expected finals against Olympiacos because of
Yes.
the limit that the Greek league has with 6 available non-Greek players.
Mhm.
Papapetru and Mitoglu are bound to get heavy minutes in the Greek league. So yes, it's something that it's worth debating right now. But I don't
Mhm.
think that Panathinaikos and Ataman are really worried about this because
Yeah.
they know that those players will be very crucial in the Greek league. It's pretty much the same situation in Olympiacos with Tyler Dorsey and Naz Mitrulong. Or even Giannoulis Laretζakis. Their minutes are very sparse during the Euroleague season, but
Mhm.
we all know that when the time comes in the Greek playoffs and the Greek League finals, all 3 players will have their minutes simply because you need local players.
Yes. 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 You mentioned it, Lesort's injury. How significant is that injury to the championship ambitions of Ergin Ataman's squad? Reports suggest he'll return by the final four, but it's uncertain what condition he'll be in. He's been a crucial contributor on both ends on the court, of course, alongside Kendrick Nunn.
First of all, it's very difficult to repeat in the Euroleague. So
Mm-hmm.
already the odds, at least on paper, are against Panathinaikos. Uh, if Lesort is not himself in the final four, then I really think that Panathinaikos will be in a disadvantage. Yes, Kendrick Nunn changed the season of Panathinaikos last year. Yes, Kostas Loukas had his best final four ever. But I think that we wouldn't be discussing all those things if Matthias Lesor didn't have a season that reminded everyone. I don't know. I don't know even if he can be compared with Tavares
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't have any help. Lesor pretty much finished the season by himself. He got some quality minutes to rest by Kostas Antetokounmpo, but he had to play 30 minutes per game. These numbers in today's game for a big man are really unheard of. And Lesor pulled it out and helped Panathinaikos win the crown. So if Lesort is not in the same condition, I think that only if Gabriel can play in the same level that Lesor did, we can expect something like a repeat from Panathinaikos. Of course, it's doable, but the importance of Lesor right now for Panathinaikos remains very, very, very crucial. And you can't judge really Gabriel from a game. Yes, we knew that he's a great player. We knew it from his presence with South Sudan in the
Mm-hmm.
FIBA competition. He played for the Lakers. And the issue here is that Lesort did much more that he was credited for. His presence in defense was great. If Gabriel can replicate this, then okay, Panathinaikos will be more than lucky because it doesn't happen overnight. But in theory, not having Lesort is a huge blow. Lesort had been doubted since the moment he signed with Partizan. He was also doubted when he came to Panathinaikos, and he played with a chip on his shoulder throughout the season. So I think that this really made a difference. And it's not only about X's and O's. Lesort was one of the on-court leaders of Panathinaikos, no matter what. So not having him will certainly hurt the team.
Yes, I agree.
So the fact that Olympiacos and Panathinaikos are pretty high in the standings seems natural, but on the other hand, it's also non-relevant. The whole season of those teams will be decided in the playoffs and in the Final Four, and this is something that especially Coach Ataman really knows.
He's expert in that.
Yes, and okay, we are now in the mid-season standings, and Real Madrid may be in danger of missing the playoffs. But if Monaco, for example, is in the top spot and Real Madrid is in the 8th spot, and they play against each other in the playoffs, who will bet against Real Madrid?
Nobody.
Nobody. It's the same situation with Efes. So we are entering an era also in the European. Okay, every game matters. Used to be in the past.
Yes. Okay, Mustafa Fall and Nikola Milutinov continue to struggle with injuries this season. How much of a long-term issue could this pose for Olympiacos?
Look, it remains to be seen, because it was a running joke in Greece that Olympiacos can't have enough centers, because ultimately some of them will get injured, and they will get injured in the worst possible time. I think that the good thing for Olympiacos is that everything is happening early this season, so they had time to add a player, to add Mensah, who is practically a fail-safe. He's the third center, but Olympiacos is used to having the third center playing starters minutes. So this is the one thing. And the second is that, as I said, you have to evaluate both of those players in the spring. I think that Olympiacos and Panathinaikos are really scratching their full potential right now. And we should have this conversation maybe in the playoffs.
Yes, I agree. I forget about Moses Wright. He is, but yes, you are right. Okay, Bartzokas spoke about it yesterday. Keenan Evans was one of the most lethal scorers last season in the Eurolige. How can he be integrated into the team, considering the established hierarchy? Do you see this as a potential issue for the Olympiacos?
Oh, not really, because as I said before, you can't have too many guards.
It's a guard.
Yes, and with Keenan Evans and with Van Fournier, it's very easy to have a three-guard lineup. Yes, Olympiacos may face an issue with chemistry, because this means that important players like Kostas Papanikolaou or Shaq McKissick will see their minutes diminished. It's a very hard situation for the players, because it already happened with Alec Peters.
Yes,
who was a focal.
yes. Maybe the best open shooter last season.
Yes, and his role is now very diminished compared to last season because of Vezenkov dominance. But other than that, I don't see this as a problem, because the season is very long. The real problem that Olympiacos will have with the return of Keenan Evans is that they will have to decide who will be left out in the Greek League playoffs and finals. Because Olympiacos has even more non-Greek players compared to Panathinaikos. And this means that some very good players will be left out.
Sorry to interrupt you. This rule, does it apply like if Keenan Evans is not on the roster? Is that for the whole series, or he could be back like for the game 2?
Olympiacos will have to select 7 players that will be registered, and in each game, 6 of them will be active.
For
So
the whole
essentially, for the whole series, yes. And this decision will be taken before the playoffs.
Oh, before the playoffs already.
Before the playoffs. So essentially, Olympiacos will pick 7 players, and the way things are right now, Olympiacos in theory will have to have 4 players in the front line, the 3 centers, and also Alec Peters. So this leaves him with 3 more players for all other positions.
Oh, yes.
Which are probably Keenan Evans, Evan Fournier, and I will say Shaquille McKissick.
Yes.
And if they want also to have Goss, then probably they will leave Mensah out.
Yes, probably, yes.
And out of those players, 1 guard will be cut during the games. 1 will be inactive. So it's a really big headache.
Yes.
And that's why it made sense to everyone for Filip Petrusev to go to Tsverna Zvezda.
Yes.
Because with Petrusev on board also, that meant practically that the 4 frontline players will be non-negotiable. You will have 4 foreign players for the Greek league. So for Olympiacos, this is kind of an issue.
Oh, I don't know that, but if Crvena Zvezda and Olympiacos meet at the final four, can Petrushev play or not?
I think that Petrusev will be able to play.
Okay.
Something that I don't know, legal or formal ground.
Okay. Let's wrap it out with Olympiacos and Panathinaikos. One of the hot topics in Greek basketball is the appointment of Vasilis Spanoulis as head coach of Monaco. He's off to a great start with a 6-2 record in Eurolige. When in those wins, they are winning by 9 points difference. How do you see Vasilis? And what has he brought to Monaco with his coaching philosophy?
It's very hard to be objective with Spanoulis. Yes. I think that at this point, everyone agrees that he's going to be a very good coach. I think that, like it happens with all coaching changes during mid-season, he shifted a little bit the dynamic in the team, and the players themselves got motivated to prove to the new coach what they can do. It was very interesting to see him changing the role of Mike James and making him more a creator than a shooter.
Yes.
I expect
accept not like an easy job to just came in his locker room and change his style of play. You have to have a big personality like Spanoulis to manage that.
Of course, but I think that this is also something temporary because now with Nika Lathis back on board, the role of Mike James will change to something that it's more like the Mike James that we are used to, because he will not have such a need to create. The very interesting thing, in my opinion, is the fact that with Spanoulis, Monaco decided to pull the trigger and release Furkan Korkmaz, who unfortunately became something like Kemba Walker.
Yes.
Last year. His presence in the team was totally symbolical, and I'm eager to see him in a very different environment in Baksese here, getting back to himself. And I think that right now Spanoulis is not he's not trying to really change things up, because the real change that happened was the role of Mike James. Pretty much nothing else changed. The team was the same, and we have seen things that we have seen also in the past with coach Sasa Obradovic. I think that the big change with Spanoulis will come if Spanoulis decides, and he's trying to change the whole mentality and outlook of the team and make them play the kind of defense that is not used in the French league.
Defense.
Yes, but not the kind of defense that we have seen from French teams right now, to see them trying to adapt to different schemes and see them really putting their body on the opponent. Because they have the they have the athletic ability. They have players like Alpha Diallo who can do this with great efficiency. In theory, players like Elio Kobo can also do this, but it's obvious also that they don't like to.
Yes.
So even if, and I believe that this may be a factor, 2 minutes, to players that don't deliver in defense. So I think that when you have two players in the backcourt that can defend like Nika Lathis and Alpha Diallo, then you have the basis to present something totally different. Because you have also the talent in the offensive end, and because you have Kalathis, you don't have to convince your team to play hard on defense. You already have two players that can be an asset in this aspect of the game. So I think this will be the real difference that Spanoulis can bring on the board right now, to have those two players setting the tone for the rest of the team in the defense. And this is something that Coach Obradovic didn't have, simply because Kalathis wasn't available. We never got to see Monaco with Kalathis.
Yes.
And Coach Obradovic on the bench.
Agreed. Okay. How do you see work on Panathinaikos in Crvena Zvezda? So far, they are having their start in their Eurolige history as a club.
First of all, this is a testament on the effort that Zvezda is doing with the level of players that they are signing.
Finally.
On the other hand, the big credit that Coach Feropoulos has to get is the fact that despite all the injuries that he had, he created a team that no matter who is missing, is capable of winning everywhere. Having said that, it's obvious that Joel Bolomboy has a great role in this team, and missing Bolomboy was the biggest problem of Zvezda, and practically explain why after a great start they had some defeats that could have been avoided. The truth is that ball on boy in defense were never replaced when he got hurt, and Zvezda had to wait to get him back healthy. I think that it's obvious with Coach Feropoulos, and that has been the case with many coaches. When they get out of their country's border, they become better because they bring a different mentality. They don't have the same connection with the environment that they have in their own country, and they are much more focused on basketball. I was having this discussion with another Euroleague coach, and he was telling me that usually when Sferopoulos gets top-level players, his teams tend to reach their potential much faster because the players understand his demands. So this is currently the situation with Sferopoulos and Zvezda, and this is why in the past Sferopoulos put a lot of trust in players like Nemanja Nedovic and Milos Teodosic, because he needed this level of players in order to produce the basketball that he has in his own mind.
Yes.
So this is the consistency of the team, despite the injuries, is the one thing that he needs to take credit. And the other thing is that he managed to convince players with the talent of Milos Teodosic and Nemanja Nedovic that they shouldn't be the guys that are taking heavy minutes in the team. They should be the guys that come and have a real impact in the time that they are on the court, because that's what the team really needs. And I think that, yes, and I think that this also made a difference in the way that we see Zvezda playing.
Yes, you said it great. Okay. Except Olympiacos and Panathinaikos, who else are you seeing in the Euroleague Final Four? Your personal opinion doesn't.
Yes. I don't have an answer, a ready answer, because it's very hard to assess what will happen the rest of the season. But I think that I see that Monaco has a really good chance to return. And it's a combination of things. And yes, Monaco made it just once. But I think that this year, the way they are playing, unless something really drastic happens down the road, they will be there. And I think that the next team that will be probably in the Final Four, and no matter how they are playing now, because they have some issues, is Fenerbahce.
Really?
I really think, yes, that Fenerbahce has the talent to make it there, and also they are really, really hungry after what happened last year. The real issue with Fenerbahce, in my book, is that they don't have the consistency that one would expect from them, from a Final Four team, because no matter the ups and downs of Olympiacos, Panathinaikos, and Milan, and Monaco, you see that there is a level of consistency. That's the problem right now in Fenerbahce. But as I said before, the issue with the EuroLeague season right now is that it's long enough to correct some mistakes, and Fenerbahce is not so far from the top. I will be tempted to say that Paris will make it to the Final Four. But the problem with Paris is that they seem to be playing only in one speed. and I'm not sure that they have the personnel to play a different brand of basketball. And what they're playing right now, it's great. I'm not so sure that it will be enough, especially if they don't have the home court advantage, to push them to the Final Four.
I get it. Yes.
And in my opinion, a huge example of this was the game against Baskonia.
Oof, yes, yes, yes.
And it's not that Baskonia is a bad team, but the fact that the fact that Paris couldn't control the game after getting a huge advantage.
Yeah, they were leading like 19.
Yes,
Right.
it's not something that doesn't happen. It happens, but Monaco didn't have any way to slow down the game and protect their advantage. They are always keep playing in transition. They are always shooting the ball, and
No matter what.
yes, and of course they are doing this because the analytics agree that this is the right thing to do with this kind of a team. This is the power of the team. You can't stop them, but this also provide in the European environment a very high risk brand of basketball. And at this point, this has happened twice. They lost to Baskonia. They didn't with Olympiacos, but suddenly Olympiacos gave them a 20-0 run.
In 3 minutes.
Yes, and the issue here is not only the comeback of Olympiacos, it's the fact that Paris didn't change during this run the way that they approached the game. They didn't try to slow down the clock. They didn't try to take some time out of Olympiacos' momentum. They didn't try to put the ball in the post. They did what they usually do, and that's great. But if you suddenly go cold and if you lose a 20 points advantage in a span of 3 minutes, then when the playoff will come and when you will have a very physical defense against you, I don't know if this kind of basketball is enough.
When you said it like that, it really makes sense. Didn't thought like that, but it makes sense. Yes.
And I really like everything about Paris. And in my opinion, it will be very hard to get another MVP than TJ Shorts.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because as the season progresses, the way that Paris is playing will also favor the numbers of TJ Shorts. I don't see him or them slowing down. But the fact that they are playing this kind of basketball in the European landscape also puts them in real danger.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like that because of course they belong to the Euroleague level. There is no debate about this anymore. But I think that especially in close games, maybe talent is not always enough.
Yes, I agree. So, off the Aris, let's we have like a final between Monaco and some of the Greek clubs. Who are you rooting for, Spartans or the clubs?
Oh, I don't have to root for anyone at this point. It's not a secret that I would like for Olympiacos to win it.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't.
Yes, I never hide that I'm an Olympiacos fan, but you know, the problem with our job is, and people don't understand it, that we really don't enjoy games, especially
Yes, yes.
in the Final Four environment. There is an impression that journalists are just there without paying ticket and they are enjoying the game. No, especially in the Final Fours, uh, I don't really remember any game that I have enjoyed seeing live for many, many years. Because, yes, because at this point you have to work. And this means that you have your laptop open, you have your social media open. You don't really enjoying the game. You following the game and you're preparing something else. So even if I'm bothered by some results, it really doesn't gets me, in the arena. We are in work mode there, and we have to work. It's not something that even if you enjoy it, it's something that it will hit you much, much later in the day when the job is done, and it's something that it's over, and you really, really understand what happened during the game and after the game. You don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah,
You don't enjoy it.
I know that feeling perfectly. I have luck because my favorite club is Zagreb, ex Dražen Petrovic club, and we are like really bad right now. So I'm just going. I'm going today the game.
Yes.
I enjoy it just to watch back.
Exactly. So
Really,
I think that, yes, I think that people has to understand that yes, we may have an affiliation, but when we work, it's just a job, and we don't really enjoy it as much as somebody would assume.
someday we will.
Someday we will, exactly. That's right now that's one of my goals, to go to a Final Four as a fan, not as a journalist.
I get it. I get it. Okay, I like to discuss Greek national team. How satisfied is the Greek public with best performance and qualification for the game?
Well, you know, it's not hard to explain, but it's a fact that basketball, of course, is the number two sport in Greece after football,
Hmm?
but it's a very close number two. There is no issue about the general public's interest. There is no issue about the coverage. There is no issue about the publicity. Those are things that are non-issues in Greece. And that's why a lot of foreign players really enjoy their time here. It's not only the conditions in the country and the sun and the sea and I don't know what else. It's the fact that there is the sport is mainstream. So all those things are practically on the same level with football.
I
So
get it.
I get it, because in many other countries this is a struggle, and even in basketball countries, like for example France. And I'm saying that France is a basketball country because there is a basketball crowd that unfortunately follows strictly the NBA. They are just starting to get interest for the European basketball. And even when the national team is playing, they follow the team when there are successes. So I think that back in the 2022 World Cup, there was interest from Greek press about the injury of Mustafa Fall. And it was funny because Greek press was interested on this because of Olympiacos, but for the French press, because the results were not favorable at that point for the French national team, which was disqualified after the first round, this was a non-issue, because the general public simply didn't follow the team because the results were bad. So you see that in Greece, there is a different level of interest, and this is a non-issue. of course, football is number one, but basketball is really there.
I get it. Yes.
And you can, for example, uh, everyone recognizes the players of Olympiacos and Panathinaikos.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a flip side on this coin. It's not easy to cope with this kind of publicity if you are not used to it.
Yes. 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 So, given that Jan was there perhaps an expectation for Putin even for the medal? Just
I think
right,
I think that everyone approaches this tournament as the last chance of this generation to get a medal.
because of the years of Kalates, maybe.
And Lucas and maybe Papanikolaou.
Yes.
Realistically speaking, the next big event for this team will be the FIBA World Cup, and
Mm-hmm.
it's 2 years from now. So there is no guarantees that Kalathis, Slukas, or Papanikolaou will be there.
And if they are there, they are too older.
They will
Now,
be too old, yes. So the the, the way that things are right now, even if, in my opinion, Greece on paper is out of the top four, because you have France, you have Germany, you have Serbia. So those are automatic picks for the medal. And maybe you have also Slovenia.
okay, yes, because Doncic, without Doncic, yeah.
Or you have Slovenia on the same level with Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for Greece to take the medal, you have to beat one of the top three.
You're
You
talking
have
just for basketball or twice?
to. I'm talking about the Eurobasket.
Eurobasket. Okay, yes, yes, yes.
Uh, you need to beat out either Serbia or France or Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Greece is on the next tier, on the exact next tier, maybe with teams like Slovenia. I don't know. Well, it depends on the NBA players about other teams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yes, Greece has a chance to win a medal, and maybe that will be the last chance. But for Greece to make it, they will have to get over one team that in the past few years have proved their consistency, and they have also better results than Greece. So
Yes,
it will not be easy, but that's the plan.
yes. I can
That,
imagine
that's
like
that's the goal.
yes, but I think basketball fan elimination game. Let's say Greece against any one of the teams. Can imagine like Greece can beat that team, especially there and Giannis being Giannis. So I think you have chance. But you are right. They are the top teams. Greece has to beat one of them, but you have a chance, my opinion.
Yes. Realistically speaking, that might be the last chance for Greece in the
Yes,
near future.
Giannis
And
generation.
yes, and okay, you can put Greece there with Slovenia, with Spain, of course.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you are totally right. Giannis makes all the difference. But knockout games are a very strange animal. Uh, and usually, when you get one big win, then it unlocks the whole potential of the team. That's what happened in 2005 with the Greek national team and lasted for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is that there is no big tournament in the next season after the Eurobasket, but Giannis and the rest of the guys have, first of all, to get to the semi-final, to not stop in the quarterfinals like it happened before. And then they will have to prove themselves in a semi-final.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
it's not something out of the question, but they have to play also against themselves and the bad tradition that has been created in the last few competitions.
Yes. Yes. I agree. They have to go over the hump.
Exactly, exactly. So this is doable, of course. This is every player's dreams and the team's goal. But on the other hand, the extra pressure is that for this version of the Greek national team, maybe this is the last chance to do it.
Yes. Yes. The last question. Today's perspective. Costa Lucas, Ioannis Papapet, Tyler Dorsey. These are three elite shooters. Are shooting and shooting was the Greece's biggest issue last summer, if you agree. Spanulis built the Greece on a, I would say, defensive system. You were like really hard defensively. With those three in a lineup, where do you see Greece potential improving for the last summer?
First of all, I don't Tyler will be on the team because of the naturalized rule. I believe
Mm-hmm.
that will be also in this tournament present because you need to have a point guard behind Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking about shooters, uh, there is the hope that Rogavopoulos can play a role.
What's with him? I didn't really.
Nikos Rogavopoulos from Baskonia.
Yeah, I know, but did he play? I can't remember right now.
No, he didn't play in the last tournament, but
Mm-hmm.
this year he may be added to the roster. Uh, I think that in the Olympics, uh, with Giannis playing the center position essentially,
Mm-hmm.
I think Panoulis was trying to find a different way to get advantage of him. And with him in the center, the need for outside shooting wasn't that great because it changed the whole dynamic of the team. And in this case, the most important player shooting-wise will be Dinos Mitoglou
Yes. Yes.
because the four position will have to space the floor.
And
So
let's not
yes,
forget
yes,
Papayan, Croatia.
yes. But in theory, if you have Giannis on the center position, you need an outside shooter in the four.
Yes. Yes.
So and Papagiannis also is shooting the three, not in the level of Mitoglou.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it- I think that the Olympics proved the Greek national team is the corner. But unfortunately for the Greek national team, this can happen only once.
Yes.
And this creates a very strange environment for the Eurobasket. But realistically speaking, as I said to you, Greece is on the verge of winning a medal. You can say that it's a favor to get it, but after the top three teams, it's one of the main contenders. So we will see, and you can learn to the team to shoot overnight,
Yes.
and a great example for this because for years uh, there was an issue with outside shooting and Greek teams, Greek national
Mm-hmm.
teams. About the previous Eurobasket, there's still the debate of the Greek decision to play Dennis Schroeder under in the quarterfinal, and this got 3-point line and ultimately decided the game.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the numbers, and if you look at Dennis Schroeder's whole career, no way that anyone will say that you don't have to play him under.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Uh, I
sometimes,
kept
yes,
2016 Greece game. Aco Petrovic was the head coach for Croatia, and we were going under all the way against Kalates and Yanis. And in the end, that was good for Croatia. And we tried that this summer with Kalates and Yanis, but Yanis was hitting mid range.
exactly. So I think that sometimes you take the right decision, but that's why it's sports and not mathematics. In any given night, something will happen and will prove your decision wrong, even if in theory it was the right thing to do.
Yes, yes, I agree. Okay, let's wrap it up. Aris, so for this conversation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and a big thank you again for this interview.
It was great, and it also gave me the chance uh, to remember, because we are still recovering from New Year's Eve, what is waiting for us in 2025, and I think that it will be a year that once more will put a lot of focus in European basketball, especially because of the Eurobasket and because of the fact that some of the biggest NBA stars are now Europeans. We tend to forget that because they are playing on a different time zone, some hundreds of thousands of miles away. But the fact is, and with all the rumors with NBA trying to make something in Europe, that for the rest of the world, or at least in many parts of the world, basketball means NBA. And
Mm-hmm.
European basketball is in a great shape, even if it's not played in Europe, because most of the NBA stars right now are Europeans.
Yes, yes. Sabonis, Wembanyama,
Yes.
Don Giannis.
And the future is bright, especially for Victor Wembanyama. This is a trend that will not change.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree. Okay, so once again, and that's all, folks, for today's day. I hope you enjoyed it. Uh, See you the next time. Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Oh,
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank you once again for agreeing to this interview. It's truly an honor for me.
no, no problem. My pleasure.
Okay, I will just make an introduction to this video. Okay,
Okay.
good day, dear viewers of the Dennis podcast. I'm Brune Feliksa, and today we'll be talking with a legend of Greek basketball, best known as Big Sofo. Sofoklis, if you agree, I'd like to start this conversation with your achievements in the Greek national team jersey. Okay, thank you. The highlight of your career was the silver and bronze medals you won with the Greek national team in 2006 and 2009. People especially remember 2006 when at the FIBA World Cup you won the silver medal and shocked the world in the semis by eliminating the Team USA, who was led by the legends LeBron, Melo, Wade, Howard, Chris Bosh. You scored 14 points in that game. Can you walk us through that game and the tournament as the whole?
Well, the tournament for sure was tough. It was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I got pretty upset during the tournament because I wasn't playing so much.
Mm-hmm.
But Eventually, we played good, and towards the end, I started playing more, and it was good. It was good for me, and for the team.
Can you walk us maybe through that game against USA? How was the matchup against Dwight Howard, who was also a big man?
Well, the thing was tough. It was really difficult. I mean, he was an exceptional big man, and I mean, the whole team was really athletic, and so we had to, to really being focused,
Yes, yes.
during the whole game. So it was tough.
hmm And later in the final, you suffered a heavy loss to Spain, who dominated the field
Yeah,
of basketball for around 15 years with the Gasol brothers. Can you maybe
yeah.
describe what went wrong in that final?
Well, they they beat us. I mean, they were tough. They were a tough team, and we had trouble, to keep up with them. It was tough, and well, they were better,
Yes,
even
excellent.
without Gasol at the time. They were better.
2 years later, you were beaten by them again. Then that was Paul Gasol with the great game. He was there. He was in his prime in those years, winning the championship with Lakers. Can you maybe describe for me a little bit a matchup with him? How was he back then?
Well, back then he was a force. He was a force. It was difficult to keep up with him. He was basically what I said. He was a force, and it was tough.
hmm in that tournament was statistically your best for the Greece. In the bronze medal game, you dominated Slovenia with 23 points. Uh, if I'm not mistaken, that was Greece's last medal in major tournaments. You won that game by just 1 point. How was to play that game? Super intense, right?
Yeah, it was super intense. Be really focused. I mean, for me, it was tough because I was sick
Mm-hmm.
during that time, and we had to, keep our concentration the
Yes,
whole
yes.
game. I mean, the team was in good shape, but we had trouble. I mean, at that time, we played with a completely new team.
Mm-hmm.
All the players were pretty much out of commission. They were
Generation was coming, right? That tournament, the older players weren't there, and you're playing basically with the new generation of the Greek players.
yeah, that's true. That's
Mhm.
true. And it was tough. It was really tough, and I'm really happy that we had the opportunity to give our best.
Yes, yes. Okay, I would like to turn point on your club career. The crown jewel of your career should have been the Euroleague title with Maccabi Tel Aviv against a super strong Real Madrid team after overtime. That team was full of superstars, mostly Spaniards: Sergio Llull, Rudy Fernandez, Chacho Rodriguez, Felipe Reyes, and your national team colleague, Borussis. Can you take us through that Final Four and your battle in the final against Borussis?
Well, during the time, we had during the time we had the will be tough. Of course, it will be tough. It was the final,
Mm-hmm.
and at that time there was a saying that goes that playing playing strong teams against strong opponents.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry so much,
Mm-hmm.
and we really didn't. We didn't worry so much. I mean, we had the good opportunity to have blue back at the time, so it was a lot easier for me. I mean, playing with blue, it's always enjoyment. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, playing with blue was easier for me. It was fun for me, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to pick up this title.
Yes, yes. Then you went to Panathinaikos. Was difficult for you to join Panathinaikos after so many years with Olympiacos?
I mean, difficult. Difficult? What do you mean difficult? As a player?
Because of the rivalry. We saw it with Kostas Loukas few years back. It wasn't easy for him when he switched the jerseys, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, for me, it wasn't so difficult. I mean, I'm happy that I was able to play for Panathinaikos,
Mm-hmm.
to play with Diamantidis,
Yes.
and it was enjoyment. The rivalry between Olympiacos and Panathinaikos, it's, everybody knows that. The whole team knows that. So, something that we can change. But I'm really happy that I was able to be a part of the team.
Yes. Okay. We are interested in what was it like to sharing the court with Milos Teodosic.
Milos, he was a good player. He was a great player. It was really a great honor to play with him. He was unexpected as a player. You never knew where the pass would come from, and
Yes.
so you always need to be 100% there,
Focused.
focused. You never
Yes.
know where the pass will come from, and you never know how it will come from. So you have to be 100% there.
Yes, I agree. Okay, I want to ask you now, how much did your weight contribute to your career, and how much did it take it away from your career?
Oh, uh, well,
If you want it, we can make it the next question. You don't have to answer to that. Okay.
yeah, okay.
Okay. Thank you. I'd like to shift focus to today's basketball. How do you see Olympiacos and Panathinaikos so far this season? Who do you give more chances for the title?
For the title,
Euroleague title, yes.
I don't know. I don't know. I seriously don't know. I mean,
Okay,
Panathinaikos,
you can say it. Say it.
I don't know. I really don't know. Olympiacos, they always looking ahead, and they will really want the title. So Panathinaikos, though, I mean, they got a great team. They really know what they're after. So it's always tough. It's always a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be for sure, but I don't know, man. I really don't know.
How do you
I really
see?
don't know.
How do you see the injury of Matias Lesort affects the Panathinaikos?
Of course, over some time, the injury of Matthias Lesor, it will be tough. It will be really difficult. I mean, Matthias was a critical part of the team,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be difficult. I mean, he was
The number one guy, maybe.
uh, maybe number one. I don't know about number one, but yeah, he was a critical part of the team,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it will be really tough to replace him. I mean, I see the team, Giannakopoulos also, and Ataman. They're trying to find a replacement, but it will be tough.
Yes, yes. Your former teammate Vasilis Panoulis has taken over the Monaco and started off great. How do you see Monaco with Vasilis on the bench?
Man, the thing is that before Monaco was a good team, anyways. But with Vasilis, I really expect to be better. I really want them to be better. Actually, I mean, you see the first day games. James actually started to be a more inclusive player, more passing,
Yes.
more determination. So hopefully you will see the growth of the player more, and I think Vasilis can help in that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How did you view Greece in the Olympics this summer? How much did the absence of Kostas Sloukas affect the team?
Yeah, of Costas. Well, I mean, in Greek national team, it's always an issue when a player misses the events. Either even so, so the absence of Costas, of course, it was terrible. It was terrible and it's always terrible when a player misses the events. But the thing is, I understand why Costas missed the event, and I understand why Costas missed Olympics. Of course, I hope that when the time comes, he will be there 100%, and hopefully the Greek national team will be 100% at the time, and they will be a lot better coming
I
back.
Yes. Okay. Giannis Antetokounmpo has continued your legacy. How much does it mean to you to see a player of African roots carrying the Greek flag at the opening of the Olympics?
My legacy. My legacy. Well, that's not really my legacy. I mean, he did his own thing. He's his own player, and he did a great job, both in and out the court. So I believe Giannis. He, I believe Giannis is a great player, great role model for the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully he will keep doing his thing. Hopefully he will keep doing his own thing.
Yes. He's currently leading the All Star voting and is in the race for the MVP. He could become the first European to have the most votes for the All Star game. Uh, what are your thoughts on his season for now and the Milwaukee Bucks chance to win the NBA title?
Well, to win the NBA title, It will be tough, of course, to win it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Giannis doesn't afraid difficulties. I mean, he was raised in difficulties, so I know he will try his best. Uh, for the All-Star game, I mean, it's about time. I think
Yes,
that it was time for him to be number one, and hopefully we will see a great show at the time.
yes. Okay, you were an example of a true old school center who dominated down low in the post. Today, centers, except for Jokic, base their game more on outside shooting. How do you see this evolution in basketball?
Revolution,
Like the evolution of the big men who are shooting way more.
evolution. Oh, okay. So, well, it's tough actually. I don't believe that a big man can shoot threes. Shoot threes.
Yes,
I
yes, I agree.
believe they should be down low and doing their job. And hopefully the new players, the new way the game's played, well, what can you do? It's the game's changing
Yeah,
and change a lot. But hopefully, me, basketball it's always the same. Basketball it's always the same. I mean, the players they need to stay in the post, stay in the position, and do the job. They're doing exactly what the coach says.
yes.
So if the coach says that you can shoot threes, if the coach says you need to work on your
Low post game.
low post game, yeah, working low post game. So
I just want to make an example. I was watching the Denver Nuggets last night when Banyama was,
okay,
yeah, when Banyama against Jokic, and Jokic is guarding Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook is guarding Victor Wembanyama. So there are no battle at the low post at all.
yeah, they're not really a battle in that regard. I mean, they're playing, they're basically you when you guard someone, you gotta guard them all over the court. So it's either the post, it's either outside. You gotta do what you need to do. I mean, so it's tough for us. Back then was you got the guarding for 2-3 seconds max. Now they got them for minutes, so it's tough.
Yes, I agree. Okay, Giannis is NBA's top scorer, but he's making less than one three-pointer per game. The second one is Shai Gilgeous Alexander, and Jokic is the third one. All three of them are not like the three-point shooters. Can they maybe bring mid-range shots and low post game back into the fashion? Because they are like the examples for today's kids, and they are not shooting threes.
Okay, I mean there are the examples. I mean it's always if the kids want to shoot threes, they can shoot threes. I mean nobody nobody should actually
Forbid them.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah. I mean Giannis and Jokic and Julius Alexander, they are great players, and hopefully their style of playing they will breed new players, breed new
Style of play.
style of play. Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
you know,
Uh, you can answer to this question, and you don't have to. We can skip it. You have Cameroonian roots. How do you feel about Joel Embiid's decision not to play for Cameroon or France, but to represent Team USA? For instance, he could pair with Pascal Siakam in the Cameroon national team if he wanted to.
Yeah, that's true. Indeed. Okay. The thing is, I believe he should play for what team he feels close to. So I believe him playing for United States, it was as a result, it was a good decision. But eventually, he needs to think for himself what he wants to do, how he wants to do it.
Okay, the last question. If you we can do it. Given your stature, you are a nightmare for opponents, almost unguardable, low in the post. But I'm curious, who was the toughest player to guard in your career, and who was your best teammate?
The toughest teammate was Lazarus Papadopoulos.
Okay.
And my best teammate will be Theodoris Paloukas.
Oof, great choice. Great choice.
Yeah, it
Yes,
was.
the legend. But who was the hardest to guard for you of your opponents outside of your team? Maybe Gasol, Howard, or somebody out of the Euroleague.
Uh, toughest for sure, Gasol, for sure.
Okay,
It
okay.
was, but also I believe I will give it also Thiago Splitter. He was tough.
Oh, yes, great center. Yes,
He was tough.
yes.
I mean, the 1 minute you think he's over there in the post, the other minute he was somewhere else. And then,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I mean, you always had to be 100% there, guarding him all the time. So it was tough.
Yes, yes. Okay, Sophocles, that would be all. Thank you once again for agreeing to this conversation. It was truly an honor, and best of luck to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya. See ya. Bye.
Bye. Bye.